The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year and Feliz Dia de los Reyes, that is. I'm Rina Valentin, Café con Leche, and host for this very special edition of Open Friday. Today, we dedicate the show to the memory of a special, one-of-a-kind king, the late Yomo Toro. Here's what's coming up on today's show. First in, we have our open weekend preview. We'll share some fun things to do around the city, and then we'll meet Yomo Toro's daughter, Denise Toro, and learn what it was like to grow up in the presence of a legend. And following that, we'll have some legendary musicians here to share some musical history about Yomo Toro, and then we'll ring in the new year with Bobby C's first sports roundup of the year. And in the Open Artist Spotlight, we'll have the festive sounds of a Son del Barrio. So stay tuned. All that is coming your way because now we are officially open. Good morning, everyone. I hope your 2013 is off to a great start. And we want to wish you once again a Happy New Year and a Feliz Dia de los Reyes. We've got a beautiful show for you today, but first we want to remind you to stay in touch. Visit us online by going to bronxnet.org and or tweet us at BronxNetTV, that's with 2 T's. And of course, you can tweet me personally at Rina Valentin. And remember to visit us on Facebook. Check out some of those photos that we post and right on our wall while you're there. All right, so, it's time to see what's happening around the city because it is now time to announce what there is to do in our open weekend preview. Calling our artists. That's right. First up, Mama's Hip Hop Kitchen is actually looking for female talent. The ever popular Volume 6 edition, which is cooking up in early March, is titled No Limits. They're looking for poets, dancers, singers, artists in all genres that are referencing this theme, which is knowledge is power. And they are looking for conscious female rappers, artists, dancers, poets, and more. And the deadline to apply is January 7th. And, you'll be notified by January 12th if you are accepted. And you can email them by going to mhhk@mhhk.org. Or you can check them out by going to mhhk.org. for more details and information. That event is happening in March, so make sure you submit and maybe you can be one of the performers. All right. Next up, the 2013 Three Kings Day Coquito Crawl. That's right. Take a festive trolley ride through El Barrio and enjoy delicious samples of entries in this year's Coquito Mix-Off. Purchase a specially priced, fresh, creamy bottle of your favorite recipe and indulge in special sales and offerings at participating East Harlem vendors. That's happening this Saturday, January 5th at Gran Piatto de Oro. That's where the crawl starts at 2 p.m. And for more information, you can check out their brown paper tickets bag page, that is, at 3 Kings Coquito Crawl brown paper bag tickets. brownpapertickets.com. That's a lot of information. Go to the website obpnyc.com. That's for the Coquito Crawl that's happening on Saturday, January 5th between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. And it certainly is not the least of the events because guess what? Son del Barrio is actually going to be performing next Friday. They're going to be remembering the late Yomo Toro, honoring the late Yomo Toro on January 11th at 9 p.m. at the famous Copacabana. And guess what, people? You can get it for free just by getting on the guest list. That's right. All you got to do is send an email with the RSVP Yomo tribute in the subject line and the names of the people of your party to VIP@thecopacabana.com. Once again, the email you submit to is VIP@thecopacabana.com, and you can CC Aurora at auroracommunications.com. Orchestra Zone del Barrio will be joined by special guest performers, dancers, all paying tribute to this late legend as we are today here on the show. And of course, you're going to hear more about this event later in today's show, so don't go anywhere. All right, so that is what we have for today, and of course, we've got DJ Vince Bracey opening up the first Friday of the new year with us. And hey, Mr. DJ, what's your resolution? Right?
Happy New Year, Rena.
Happy New Year. You know, that's like, you know, it's been a quite peaceful entry into the 2013 year.
I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, the same for you.
Yes, had a great New Year's. It was a lot of fun. I was hosting a party in the Hamptons.
Nice.
So I got to rub elbows with a lot of rich people.
Very cool. Very
Eat some
nice.
lobster as
Nice.
we rang in 2013.
Nice. And as we all know, the beginning of the year is like the year of resolution.
Yes.
And right away, we've got all the commercials, the weight loss, and eating plans and all that other good stuff. And we're health conscious here at BronxNet.
Right.
And as
We
you
get
know,
lean.
I'm still doing the Rena Gets Lean. We've got a second season coming up, and I'm really excited because we're going to actually start launching probably some promos next week. Because the truth about making these type of commitments is that it's really a lifestyle change.
Yes.
And that's really what I'm cheerleading about. It's like, all right, I'm being truthful. It's challenging, but it's challenging because really I'm just trying to formulate new habits, And so I'm just sharing that with everyone, because if you did make a New Year's resolution, it's not about like saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to pump like 3 to 4 days a week. It's like, no, it's actually a new way of thinking, a new way of being, a new way of living.
Yes. And I hope everybody keeps up with their New Year's resolutions. I know we say we're going to do that every year, but yeah, definitely.
Well, they say that people's New Year's resolutions only last for like 8 weeks. Did you make a New Year's resolution?
Like I said before, my only resolution is to just keep doing what I'm doing even better.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Rena get more lean than
I
last year.
like that. Rena get more lean. Yes. Cheerlead on the side. That's my DJ, Vince Bracey. Congratulations on the gig in Hamptons.
Thank you
Must have
very
been
much.
nice. All right. So we have to take a small break, but we'll be back with someone close to the late Yomo Toro right here on Open.
This is so cool, Dad. Awesome. This is so cool, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov. Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice. Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
And welcome back to Open Rina Valentin on this very special edition dedicated to the late Yomo Toro. Everyone loved Yomo Toro, you know, since his passing on June 30th, 2012. Since the passing of the legendary Puerto Rican guitarist Yomo Toro on June 30th, 2012, much attention has been given to his legacy in music. Just 2 weeks after his funeral, Newark, New Jersey named a street after the Fania All-Stars. The National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences just bestowed a Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award to the king of the Cuatro. While the Bronx Community Board, representing the area where Yomo lived, unanimously passed a resolution to have Ogden Avenue renamed Yomo Toro Place, that is, to be signed by the mayor in January. Yomo Toro was well loved as a virtuoso guitarist. His strumming could be heard over the famous Trio Los Panchos recordings. Whoever it was, after his appearance over Larry Harlow's classic tribute to Arsenio recordings, that Yomo teamed up with Willie Colon and Hector Lavoe, forever changing the face of traditional music, landing the funky Jíbaro on the lineup of the internationally acclaimed Fania All-Stars. And well, here on set with us is one of the women who knew the king of Cuatro, Yomo Toro, the best. Please welcome to the studio set, Denise Toro. Hi.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. That was a really long intro to him, just so that we could familiarize the viewers with who Yomo Toro is and what your presence here means, and just the stories that you're going to share with us today. I just basically shared with the viewers all these wonderful accolades, and that's not even half of it.
Yeah.
It's not even half of it.
It is a lot.
So, I mean, as best as you can, share with us what that must have been like for you growing up in the presence of such a legend.
Growing up with him was a different childhood. It's not your ordinary childhood. Our bonding time was in the middle of the night when he would come home after a gig with sacks of White Castle hamburgers, and that's what we would eat and talk. That was our bonding time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then having to share him, that was a bit of a drag, but it was great too, in the sense that we got to meet a lot of famous people, like Ramito, Blanca Iri Villafañe, Johnny Albino, Dilio Gonzalez, a lot of the old timers. So it was an interesting childhood.
Yeah, you know, just because I know we have images of like his journey, just you, like at what age did this all really start hitting you, where you would have to, like, I guess, meet all these other musicians, come to rehearsals? I mean, what was that like? That must have been fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I remember it made a big impact on me in my 6th grade and then crossing over to 7th. Because I was a chubby child and wasn't popular.
Right.
And he played at my 6th grade graduation. So when I got to 7th grade, I became very popular.
Nice.
Because he played at the graduation. So I was Yomo Toro's daughter, and everybody wanted to be my friend then. So that was pretty cool. And he became my hero then. But during that time, it was like, you're my hero now.
So what school was that, and were they aware of the impact of the Cuatro playing? Was it the teachers, the parents? Like, who was it that actually, like, aside from your friends, you know, because he's just fabulous. He has a hypnotic style about him. He's very hypnotizing.
True. But it was, for me, it was more the kids. This was what I noticed. However, the teachers were fascinated by him. We grew up in a Puerto Rican community, so everybody knew who he was. He kept that culture going, and he made it spread. So even if you weren't Puerto Rican, when you heard his music, you became Puerto Rican. And it was just such a beautiful style because he can do any music, any kind of music, rock, aguinaldos, danzas, flamenco, any kind of music. So he was different. He was extraordinary.
He was extraordinary, and his journey was extraordinary. Again, the impact that his strings had on music. I mean, once his strings were incorporated into a sound, that's it. It became kind of Yomo Toro's sound.
I did, and a lot of the times I look at videos, and to me, what I see is that like the cuatro for such a little instrument has such a big sound that a lot of the times the other instruments play around this cuatro. So I think that's a cool thing too.
And so just so that everybody, in case they're not aware of what a cuatro is, because it's actually, it's a Latino instrument, and somebody non-Latino may not know what a cuatro is. Can you describe what a cuatro is?
Well, it's our national instrument of Puerto Rico. It's a very small guitar. I don't know why they call it a cuatro, but it has 10 strings. And I think it imitates the lute or something like that because it's a small guitar. But what a sound that thing has.
Yes.
Oh, it's unique.
It is unique.
It's a sound all its own, and it can convert itself into any kind of music because he even did the twist. He did some kind of rendition of the twist. So to do the twist with a cuatro, that was really nice.
That's kind of
really
cool.
nice.
Yes, which is, the beauty of your father and his style. Like, we had him here on the show, and if I'm not mistaken, this was actually the last television appearance that he made. And aside from being honored, I got to really get to know him a little bit more in feeling his sense of humanity. He was a humanitarian.
Very. And humble. Oh, he's very humble, and he loved to do fundraisers. I remember as a child, we couldn't have Christmas Eve with him because he was out trying to get toys for needy children and playing and just doing things to get stuff out to the less fortunate than his own, and to the community that he was raised in. We were living in Brooklyn. We were born and raised in Brooklyn, and it was not such a poor neighborhood, but it wasn't such a rich neighborhood either.
Right.
It was more poverty than money.
Right.
And he made sure that every kid on my block had something to open on Christmas Day.
Awesome. That's so awesome.
And it was during a time when Bam Bam dolls and Pebble dolls were big, so everybody had a Bam Bam doll and a Pebbles doll, So it was pretty cool.
What's really cool is that you have an actual recollection of like these certain moments of his generosity, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was a television host? Because I don't know if a lot of people know that he used to be a television host as well.
I do remember that because we watched him every time he got up on television. So we watched all these shows, and we were like, look at him, he's on TV. And then when he came home, we would tell him what we liked most about the show and what he did really, really well. And he loved all of that. He loved hearing that from his family, and to see the pride that we had for him.
And I'm sure his passing must have been really hard for you. But how has it been getting all these acknowledgement for his presence? I mean, he's got some streets named after him. He was granted a Lifetime Achievement, a Grammy Award, in which you and your mom went to accept, right? What was that like?
It's all bittersweet because I lost my father, my teacher, my best friend, and my hero. However, to see all this love given to him and all this recognition and everything that he worked for the 60 years and that I had to share him, wow, I can't even put that into words. And it kind of like softens the blow that I have to deal with every day that he's not here. And I want to pick up that telephone and call him, and I can't. But seeing all this love and the tributes that are given to him, and the Grammy and the street naming, and And I love all of this because he deserves it.
He absolutely did.
deserves
He
it.
absolutely did. He definitely earned it without a doubt. He is the king, and we're celebrating him.
He's the
during
man.
Yes, he is the man. He is the man. Now, in celebration, there's an event going on Friday. Just share it. Not this Friday, next Friday, January 11th.
Yeah, there's an event at the Copacabana. It's a tribute to my father, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And I want to thank Aurora for putting this together. Phenomenal job. And I hope everyone will come out and join us in the parranda, celebrating las Octavitas. And you'll even learn. Some people, Puerto Ricans, will learn what Octavitas are.
I know, because there's
a lot of people don't know what that is.
Right, because it's technically a Puerto Rico tradition celebrated by, we're getting it here in the States.
Yeah, we're bringing it here. So I'd like everybody to come out and find out what Octavitas is. And even join in the parranda to celebrate the Three Kings Day. And just be with us and have a great time remembering this great, beautiful legend.
Yomo Toro.
Yomo Toro, my daddy.
Nice. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Such
Thank you.
intimate feelings and thoughts. Thank you.
And I thank the public for loving him and supporting him too.
Absolutely. All
Thank you.
Woo, that was so beautiful. All right. Once again, thank you, Denise, for sharing
Thank you.
your stories about your father
New
with
Year.
us. Happy New Year's to you,
Thank
too.
you.
And, to you guys out there, we'll be back after this break with more of our tribute to Yomo Toro here on Open. Don't go anywhere. No, say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This
Now the big guy comes off the bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Did you find the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yup.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes. The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster. Welcome home, man.
This is so cool, Dad. This is so cool, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Hello and welcome back to a special edition of Open dedicated to the late Yomo Toro. And here on set with us to give us a bit of history on the music that Yomotoro was best known for are, well, some of Yomotoro's former bandmates. We welcome to the show Son del Barrio's band leader and journalist and historian Aurora Flores, and David Fernandez, the musical director of Son del Barrio. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Happy New Year, Rina. Happy New Year to you too. Y Feliz Dia de los Reyes.
Yes.
Even though it's not officially the day of Three Kings, but it's the Three Kings weekend, right?
Yes, the Three Kings weekend, Three Kings days, and then Octavitas. Because, as Puerto Ricans, we got 8 more days on top of the 12th night.
You know what? Just because you opened up with Octavitas and Denise had mentioned the Puerto Rican culture, let's just share with everybody what Octavita is.
Octavitas are, well, you know, Three Kings Day officially is what they call 12th night, or the Epiphany, if we're Christians. So that is the day of the Three Kings. But in Puerto Rico, we celebrate 8 more days.
Right, because Puerto Ricans just don't know how to stop celebrating.
Right, so we call those 8 more days
right.
Octavitas. And there are 8 more days that you celebrate with parrandas, meaning like a walk around caroling, where you go to your friend's house as a surprise. Because back in the day when people were poor, the gift that they would bring would be music. Aguinaldo actually means a gift, a present. So the parranda was a present. But people,
that's nice.
You go to their house in the middle of the night when they're sleeping. Everybody's singing outside. They open the door. They come in. They make an asopao or sopon. Everybody drinks. They have coquito or moonshine. And pitorro.
She laughs. He's like, oh, moonshine.
Pitorro.
Pitorro.
And then everybody gets together and they go to the next house.
Right.
So in those 8 days, you could start out in the middle of the night with 5 musicians. And by the time 7 o'clock in the morning comes, there's 200 people singing and dancing and just celebrating life.
Which brings me to the actual musical direction of Mr. David Fernandez, who's going to be leading a huge band, right? Because you're doing an orchestra version at the Copacabana. Mm-hmm. And it is going to be in honor of Yomotoro. However, you guys have performed with Yomotoro. What's this going to be like for you?
Very emotional. Very hard for me to deal with the fact that Yomo's no longer with us. The fact that Yomo will sit right next to me. In fact, Rina, the last time we were on the show, we had Yomo here with us.
That's right.
And you saw the setup. Yomo was always next to me. He requested that. Pon me al lado de Davey, pon me al lado de Davey, you know? So it's going to be hard for me.
Why do you think he always wanted to be by your side?
He liked the way I play. He told me so many times, and he wanted to have that eye contact with me to make sure that everything was on point. And
they would play with each other.
We would play it, and musically we would play with each other. We would make eye contact as to what he was gonna do. I would accompany him. Then what I was gonna do, he would accompany me. So it was almost karmic that we would just know what to do at the spot.
I could totally feel it because you get the sense that he's that type of person where you guys were like speaking telepathically through the music, right?
Exactly.
What I'm going to do is we're gonna have his chair there, right next to David.
Okay.
And I'm mounting a big picture, that picture that he took here
right
at BronxNet.
Nice.
I'm going to have that mounted, and that's going to sit on the chair next to his cuatro, next to his hat.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So he's going to be there with us in spirit.
That's
but
beautiful.
I needed physically to see him there with us.
That's nice.
And then at the end, Larry Harlow, El Judío Maravilloso, which I think Yomotoro performed with him more than anybody. He went around the world several times with Larry. Even more than Fania, because Fania was once in a while, but with Larry, he went everywhere. And Larry's going to do, at the end, a special Fania presentation, Quítate Tú, which is the one where Yomo would throw himself on the floor and play the guitar.
But that's also the signature tune that introduced the Puerto Rican cuatro into the salsa. Quítate Tú.
That introduced the Puerto Rican cuatro to the salsa, which took it around the world, which made Yomo blow up around the world. Remember, he was...
All right, it's good that you brought this up because the instrument, it plays a strong role in, I don't know, there's something like really different, very distinct when that sound is incorporated.
Yes,
and he was pretty much the one who brought it in. He was the innovator.
He was the innovator because he could play that cuatro in any genre, from rock to Spanish music, flamenco, to classical music, to salsa, to jazz. Yomo could play anything. And he came to prominence through the Yomotoro show on channel, I think 41. It was a 40s. Back then,
I
they
could
used to call
totally
it-
see him hosting a show. I could totally see myself checking him out. Like,
well,
you know?
before Benny Hill was famous, you had to watch the Yomotoro show. Okay, they had no rules. They had a girl playing baton and the baton would fall. There was no script. It was just, but Yomo was always there playing that cuatro, and he's going to be really missed. He took our Puerto Rican culture.
He's already missed. He's already missed. And, you know, I just to share with everyone, you know, you've done such a wonderful job executing this tribute to him. I mean, we're starting it off here. And then you also are going to air tomorrow on Visiones. And you're just being documented all over the place. However, you also were able to get some legendary musicians to accompany. What is that like for you, David, leading this? Because
first of all, let me just explain. When Larry asked me to be his backup
okay,
pianist.
wait, let's name everybody who's playing on Friday because you've got some heavy hitters.
Okay, check it out.
Okay.
Larry Harlow,
Uh-huh.
Alfredo Chocolate Armenteros, Alfredo de la Fe, and we're going to have Eddie Servigon from Orchestra Broadway.
On the flute.
On the flute.
Reinaldo Jorge, who was a Fania alum, who played with Yomo many times on that Fania All-Star stage. He's coming directly from Puerto Rico to join us. And we have some other surprise guests that we're not supposed to really say their names, but we're expecting a few singers.
Oh, come on. What is that? You're going to say it now.
Maybe Adalberto Santiago. Maybe Ray Sepulveda. Maybe that's going to be a few people. And with our band, with Son del Barrio, we have Jorge Maldonado singing with us. And we have a few legends, even Ruben Lopez, who's on bass with us here.
Yeah.
And who's also a legendary bassist who played with Yomo so many times.
So many times with Tommy Olivencia and with so many. And just the guys that we have in general have played with so many groups like Jose Alberto Canario, Brenda K. Starr, and the list goes on and on, Tito Nieves. So, you know, we're within Son del Barrio, we're going to have an all-star cast.
No kidding. I mean, and that must be really exciting for you, David. David, we're so proud of you over here because you guys are doing some great stuff.
Thank you.
And I'm saying that to you as a musical director. And of
Thank
course,
you.
I don't know, you know, my hands, and I bow down to you as a woman who knows how to lead the whole thing. Okay?
It's not easy. But what I wanted to do was really have a band that could play everything. Because I was taught as a young girl, when we were growing up, musicians, if you were a real musician, you were an all-around musician. You played from paso doble to bolero, to plena, to bomba, to guaracha, mambo, guaguancó, everything, right, David?
Everything.
And nowadays, people are like segmented. Like the society is segmented.
But that's not what we're going to get on January 11th,
No,
right?
you're
So-
going to get a little bit of everything. And I want people to come with their panderos, with their panderetas, with their claves, with their maracas, and join the parranda. Because the parranda's for the community, it's for everybody. And that starts at 9:30. I want them all to sing with us. They'll hear those songs they heard when they were little about el lechon.
You're so good at it. It's like over here hinting. David, really quick, before we go, can you just name everybody who's playing with us here on SAT so that we acknowledge the
Saturday,
band?
some of the guys that are here, like Carlos Ponce, Oreste Abrante, Nelson Mati Gonzalez, Ruben Lopez, Nicole Toro, Sammy Barreto, Dennis Hernandez, Wilfredo de la Torre. We're going to have Leonardo Sanchez on trombone. We'll have Pucho Alamo on cuatro.
That's right, Pucho. That's his prodigy, right?
Yes, and we're going to have two cuatro
We're gonna have
players.
two cuatro
They were
players.
both prodigies of Yomotoro.
Yomotoro.
The other one is Herman Gonzalez.
Yes. Herman Gonzalez. He's coming all the way from Georgia.
And I want to say, we've also gotten the support of Goya Foods, of the 100 Hispanic men who are going to be there. We're going to have a short program at around 10 o'clock. We're going to bring them on stage. The graphic artist, Oliver Rios, who did that wonderful card that you've seen.
Right, the image, the
yes,
graphics.
He's going to be doing a life-size portrait of that and giving it to Denise, giving it to Minnie, who's going to be there.
Beautiful.
And we're going to have, you know, photos of his Grammy, photos of the name that the street they named in Newark. And now Mayor Bloomberg has on his desk to name the street Ogden Avenue.
Here in the Bronx.
Behind Yankee Stadium, Yomotoro Place.
Beautiful. We look forward to that. Thank
I
you so much.
neglected to mention Nicole Nicole Toro and Marianne Santiago will also be with us that evening. So that's the whole band.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yay. All right.
All right.
That's all you guys get today, okay? Because, well, not necessarily. We're still going to give you a little taste of Zone del Barrio. However, the idea is that you get to the Copa on January 11th, and doors open at 9 o'clock. And you're going to hear more about it as we continue throughout the show. Thank you so much.
And get on the guest list because I want everybody to come de cachete.
Oh,
free.
So you have
De cachete.
Woo! All right,
Thank you, Rena.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For more on Orchestra Zone del Barrio, you can check out the website, and actually you can get more information about the Copacabana event by going to zonedelbarrio.com, and or once again you can write to VIP at Copacabana to get on the list. CC Aurora at Aurora Communications. All right, next we got Bobby C with Sports Roundup, so don't go anywhere. Bye.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
This is Bobby C. reporting from Yankee Stadium. We're on a blistering winter day. Syracuse football made its second trip to the Pinstripe Bowl in 3 years, and it meant just that much more for their head coach and one rising star from the Bronx. Orange head coach Doug Marrone and Syracuse linebacker Siriki Diabate share more than Cuse football. The two are Lehman High School grads and former Bronx standouts. And the two can also add Pinstripe Bowl champions to that ledger. Diabate, a transfer from Nassau Community College, sat in the stands at Yankee Stadium when Syracuse won the inaugural Pinstripe Bowl 2 years ago. Saturday afternoon, the senior linebacker played a key role defensively in a 38-14 drumming of West Virginia, the second bowl title for Cuse in the last 3 years under Marrone, the darling of Bronx football.
When we found out it was coming to the Pinstripe, it was pretty exciting. Come back home, come back to the Bronx and Yankee Stadium. A lot of people, we were just excited for the opportunity.
Diabate was part of an effective defense that really stopped both the pass and the running game of West Virginia to account for the victory.
On a cold, snowy day at the big ballpark in the Bronx, Syracuse turned to the ground game and finished with a season-high 369 yards to beat its former Big East rival, West Virginia, now playing in the Big 12 for a third straight time.
It was special for our team. We have a lot of players from this area, a lot of players whose family can't make that trip, up to Syracuse. It's special. It's become winning the second one, it's become a special place for all of us.
Prince Tyson Gully dashed through the snow, with Gully running for a career-best 208 yards and 3 touchdowns, en route to MVP honors.
I want to thank coaches for believing me. It was definitely fun. Coach kept on saying it's just like playing at home in Akron.
It's a great deal. The competition in the room is what sets it, but the brotherhood is also what creates it, They pull for one another, they love each other, and I think once they're going, they're the biggest cheerleaders for one another.
The Pinstripe Bowl ushered in the bowl season at the end of December. Among the highlights thus far, Louisville won the Sugar Bowl and Stanford won the Rose Bowl. As we get closer to Monday night's highly anticipated national championship game between number 1 Notre Dame and number 2 Alabama. But first, we have the Cotton Bowl tonight as Heisman winner Johnny Manziel leads Texas A&M against Oklahoma. We shift gears from the college gridiron to the NFL gridiron, where the Big Apple is playoff list for the winner. Let's start with the New York Jets and our latest Gang Green Insider. The Jets' turbulent season came to a crashing end in Buffalo on Sunday in Week 17. Gang Green finished the year at 6-10, and although forced to go back to quarterback Mark Sanchez with Greg McElroy concussed, the Jets lost 28-9 to the Bills to close the season.
We'd like to play better, but unfortunately that hasn't happened.
Sanchez, the starter for most of the year, never rebounded. The final 2 weeks, which included a 27-17 loss in their final home game a week earlier to San Diego, where McElroy was sacked 11 times, were as much a spectacle as ever before. A 3-ring quarterback circus, and McElroy, a third-stringer turned starter late in the year, couldn't get the Jets going. Meanwhile, the story never wavered far from Sanchez and arguably the most well-known backup in the NFL, Tim Tebow, who was not pleased to be passed up on the depth chart in Week 16.
I think, first and foremost, you try to do what's right. You try to do your best and you try to treat others the way you want to be treated. And those were 3 things my high school football coach taught me, and it still is just as true to this day.
Obviously, like any other team, there'll be transitions and acquisitions made in the offseason. I think the big thing for us is just to come back and just to start over. Stop trying to think about the 2010, 2009 season. Like, this isn't that anymore. What we have to do is break ourselves down and build an identity for the future, moving forward. This isn't those teams anymore, so we have to create our identity or, their identity, however it works. What do the 2013 Jets look to accomplish and who they want to be?
The Jets let go of GM Mike Tenenbaum, but will keep Rex Ryan for now. The organization could be fined in the coming days for not making the coaching staff available in a timely manner for the media, a rule that is in place by the league. Rough season for the Jets, who have many questions, none bigger than the QB situation. It does appear that Ryan remains a supporter of Mark Sanchez. Today's newspapers are having some fun with a snapshot of a quote-unquote kinky Ryan tattoo on his arm that features his wife wearing little else than a Sanchez number 6 jersey. Perhaps Ryan believes she should be the new New York Jets quarterback. After all, she does love football. Too many jokes at the Jets' expense. I fell 1 game shy of my prediction in the early season. I believe the Jets would go either 7-9 or perhaps even 8-8 if things broke well, which of course they didn't in the final 3 weeks. Gangrene had to settle for 6-10. Their stadium neighbor, the defending champion New York Giants, won't be able to retain that title after another 9-7 finish. They too fell 1 game shy of my preseason pick of 10-6. We'll have more on their downfall in my C list. Stay tuned. During the holidays, the Brooklyn Nets decided to relieve head coach Avery Johnson of his duties. Top assistant PJ Carlesimo was bumped up to interim and has done well out of the gate, despite rumors of possibly Phil Jackson or Jeff Van Gundy on the horizon. PJ is 3-1 since taking over a week ago, including a huge win on Wednesday night in OKC over the best team in the NBA. Joe Johnson netted 33 points in upstaging Kevin Durant and the Thunder. The Nets will be in D.C. tonight for the Wizards and home Saturday for the Sacramento Kings. Fans may remember the choking incident between Latrell Sprewell and PJ Carlesimo back in the Golden State days. While PJ has moved on, it appears that Latrell is still having some trouble these days. The bankrupt former NBA All-Star was arrested for disorderly conduct on New Year's Eve, according to a report. Spree's former team, the New York Knicks, have a stranglehold on the Eastern Conference these days, regardless of the opponent. You gotta love the New York Daily News headline this morning, Slam Antonio, a reference to last night's victory over the Red Hot Spurs at Madison Square Garden. The 22-10 Knicks snapped a 7-game win streak for the 26-9 Spurs in a 183 win at the world's most famous arena. Carmelo Anthony, who is second in Eastern Conference voting for the upcoming NBA All-Star game, notched 23 points and 8 rebounds. J.R. Smith added 20 points, his 5th straight game over the 20-point mark, as New York rebounded from back-to-back losses. Our Bronx Net cameras were on the scene. We go inside the locker room for more.
We beat a damn good ball club, and it took a total team effort, for 48 minutes, because that team will never beat themselves. So, we were pretty good tonight.
The Knicks are off to Orlando Saturday before returning for Monday night's matchup with Boston at the Garden. Time for some quick hitters. Giants quarterback Eli Manning turned 32 years old on Thursday. Happy birthday, big guy. The NFL postseason is set to commence this weekend. Who would have thought at the start of the season that we'd have the Seattle Seahawks as serious Super Bowl contenders, and the first 2 picks in the draft, quarterbacks Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III, vying for a title as well. The Indianapolis Colts and the Washington Redskins are in. The New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are out. The coaching carousel has already begun, beginning with Monday's firings. Among those relieved were Andy Reid in Philadelphia and Lovie Smith in Chicago. Reid appears bound for KC and would be the first let go to secure a new gig. Rumors are swirling that the NHL is nearing a possible return. Labor negotiations continue as the two sides try and salvage a season we could see hockey before January is up. In the Bronx, Hideki Matsui called it a career in late December. The 2009 Yankees World Series MVP will never be forgotten by Yankee fans. And from the baseball diamond, we'll find out if the Hall of Fame will come a call-in for Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. The results will be in on January 9th. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a closer look at the Giants' collapse.
2012 proved to be a year of highs and lows for the G-Men. Last February, the New York Football Giants were on top of the world, capping a remarkable late-season run with a Super Bowl ring. But by December, the same 9-7 mark that started it all a year ago wasn't enough to make the cut this winter. Not even on a day when the Giants routed the rival Philadelphia Eagles 42-7. Not even on a day when reigning Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning threw a career-high 5 touchdowns.
We had it in our grasp. We knew exactly what we had to do. We weren't able to get that done. We came in today and played like we would have hoped we would have finished the season with. And I'm sure that'll be first and foremost on our minds throughout the entire offseason.
Those last couple of weeks we weren't ready, and this week we knew it was all on us, and we had to take care of our business at least, and we did that.
The Giants needed a win on Sunday and 3 teams to lose, including the Chicago Bears, who also played at 1 p.m. But the Bears would pull out a 26-24 win over Detroit moments after the Giants' victory against the Eagles.
All the close games, you wish you could have them back. Especially the situation we're in now, where we need teams to win and we don't control our own destiny.
This marks the 7th straight season the Super Bowl champion failed to win a playoff game the following year. It could also be the end of the line for many Giants, who are part of the organization's last 2 Super Bowl winners in 5 years.
It's a terrible feeling. I mean, to hold the trophy and be part of it, that's something that you want to continue to fight for and continue to press for.
22 free agents for the G-Men, including vets like Lawrence Tynes, Osi Umenyiora, David Deal, and other standouts from Akeem Nicks to Victor Cruz. We could see a different team next year. Hopefully the Giants and the Jets are able to regroup. The Super Bowl is coming to New York next winter, and they'll have to be at their best for a shot at the big game in February, something we can't say for the 2 organizations this season. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Check in with me on Monday Morning Open for a full recap of the NFL's first playoff weekend of 2013. Stay with us. More Open coming up right after this.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
The Open Artist Spotlight is made possible in part with public funds from the Bronx Council on the Arts through the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Program.
Welcome back to Open. We spoke to them earlier, and now, well, we're going to hear the wonderful sounds of the music from Zone del Barrio. And, well, I wasn't quite yet. What? Las parrandas. ¿A qué tú parranda?
Y aquí en Banksnet vamos a gozar, aquí con Gina.
Go have our lechon.
That's it.
Anda, tengo ganas de comerme ese rabito del lechón. Pero como están las cosas, no se encuentra ni un millón. Pero que tengo las ganas de papearme ese rabito del lechón. Pero como están las cosas, no se encuentra ni un millón. Pero
mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Bueno, en esta Navidad si voy yo, para comer de cachete ese lechón. Pero mira cómo paso hoy, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Pero en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón.
Sueño con la morcillita y un pedacito de turrón. Y en estas Navidades yo me como del lechón. Pero que sueño con esa morcillita y un pedacito de turrón. Y en estas Navidades I have a piece of that lechón.
Mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Bueno, en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón.
Pero mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Pero en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón.
Si me voy con Yomo Toro, allá con Mini su tuntún, y ahí con Don del Barrio, yo me como del lechón. Pero me iba con Yomo Toro, con Mini y su tuntún, y ahí con Don del Barrio, I have a piece of that lechón.
Mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Pero en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón. Pero mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Pero en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón.
Si me quedo en Puerto Rico o me voy allá a New York, yo te tiro una parranda con todo mi corazón. Pero no importa si estoy en Puerto Rico o aquí en mi New York, yo me voy a la parranda and I have a piece of that lechón.
Mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Pero en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón. Pero mira cómo paso yo, señor, con la gana que le tengo a ese animal. Pero en esta Navidad si voy yo, a comerme de cachete ese lechón.
Anda, de cachete me voy,
de cachete,
ay, tráemelo aquí,
de cachete,
ese lechón is for free,
de cachete,
ay, I don't have a dime,
de cachete,
that lechón is mine,
de cachete,
in this economy,
de cachete,
that lechon's calling me,
de cachete,
lechón, lechón,
de cachete,
lechón, lechón,
de cachete,
ataque corazón,
de cachete,
no me das el lechón,
de cachete,
le echo limón,
de cachete,
sabe a bombón,
de cachete,
de cachete voy,
de cachete,
y de cachete estoy,
de cachete,
en casa de Rina,
de cachete,
voy con la niña,
de cachete,
y como del olor,
de cachete,
forma el vacilo,
de cachete,
lechón, lechón,
de cachete,
lechón, lechón,
de cachete,
con un poquito de turrón,
de cachete,
sabe a bombón,
de cachete,
de cachete voy,
de cachete,
de cachete estoy,
de cachete,
en casa de David, se forma el holgorio,
de cachete,
yo bailo con Pocholo, se forma el vacilón,
Carlos,
llévalo, Carlos, llévatelo.
And that's how we do it. That is how we do it. ¡Feliz Día de los Reyes! Rest in peace, Yo Motoro! Woo!
De cachete,
lechón,
de cachete,
de corazón,
de cachete,
casa de lechón, le echo limón,
de cachete,
labia bomba,
de cachete,
de cachete soy,
de cachete,
de cachete soy,
de cachete,
casa de no
de cachete,
de cachete, oiga conmigo, de cachete, con más vacilo, de cachete, lechón, de cachete, lechón, de cachete, casa de licor, de cachete, con más humor, de cachete, vamos de risa, y la misa, lechón, 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 lechón. ¡Woo! ¡Me voy! ¡Son del barrio! ¡Aquí está la fiesta! ¡Woo! All right. ¿Sabes que tienen que ir de cachete? De cachete, ¿oíste? En esta economía, de cachete.
Which means we have actual email we can send to you, right?
Yeah.
So that you guys can go de cachete to which means for free to the Copacabana on January 11th.
Yes,
in
and
honor.
party with us.
In party with
Come
Son del
with the
Barrio.
parranda, come with your instruments, join the fun. Even if you don't know the words, you'll pick up on one or two words of the chorus, and the whole thing is a release.
Awesome.
Release the stress of last year. Release all the negativity of last year. Musicians, if you played with Yomo, come and join us. Hang up your ego, because this is all about Yomo Toro.
Woo! Once again, that's happening Friday, January 11th at the Copacabana, everyone. And once again, you can email VIP@thecopacabana.com in order to get your free entrance, and CC Aurora at Aurora Communications. Go to zondelbarrio.com for more information. Thanks again, you guys, for a fantastic performance. Thank you for being here. And once again, to everybody out there, happy Three Kings Day as we celebrated here. The King of Cuatro, Yo Motoro, rest in peace, my man, rest in peace. And once again, go to zondelbarrio.com for more information on the Copa event happening next Friday, January 11th. That is all the time we have for today. We're probably going to close out with a parranda, people. You're going to learn about that too. We'd like to extend our gratitude to our guests for coming through, sharing their talents and memories with us. And to you, our viewers, for watching, wherever you are, if you missed any part of the show, tune into the Recable Cast tonight at 5:10 and throughout the entire weekend. And of course, you can find us online 24/7 by going to brosnet.org. Once again, I'm Rina Valentin. And from all of us here, have a happy New Year and Feliz Dia de los Reyes. And may the universe provide peace, prosperity, and love. Mwah. Adios. It's parranda time.
Casa Nicole, de cachete, casa Orete, de cachete, Eva Silo, de cachete, casa de Carlos, de cachete, casa